Hello, friends. So, in the last few days, we've had news of a really bad earthquake in Turkey and Syria. And I felt like I needed to respond in some way and maybe send a message out to my community about it, and to not only send a message of compassion and prayer to the people directly affected, but also to those around me who are um, sad and affected by hearing about it, and then also feel perhaps powerless or feel like we should be doing something, and what can we do? And I feel like um, somatics has very beautiful answers to this, as does quantum physics and biology, and all the research around how even simply being in heart coherence, prayer, meditation can really have a positive impact on the whole world. And so, in line with that, I'd like to just start my short message with a poem. I was trying to find one that has the words "feel it all" in it, but I don't remember which one that was. And a search on the internet was unsuccessful. So this is the closest I can get to it. And this one is called The Guest House, and you probably know it. It's by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning is a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrow, who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So to say that, allow yourself to feel whatever emotion, whatever sorrow, sadness, darkness you might be feeling. And this is where somatic practices can really help, and where the practices I share, the space I hold for people, is a space for this, for feeling. And that once we allow these emotions their time, we can then step forward. Refreshed is not the right word, but with perhaps a new perspective, with new energy. And they don't have to be in the background somewhere looking for attention, asking for attention, because we have given them attention. So I could probably end that message there, but I do want to share this reading, which, again, a little bit like the feel it all quote was coming to me. And this is a message from one of my teachers. Well, she's kind of passed away already, but these teachings are being passed down to me through my teachers who are still alive and my mentors. Charlotte Selver, who was a German woman who came to the US World War II, around then, and after them, after the war. And she has something that really stuck in my mind, and it was a quote from an interview that she had. I'm going to read in a minute, but it was about being able to stand. So she says, sometimes people doing this work get so sensitive that they think that they can't stand it. And then she says, but do you know that it has something to do with being able to stand, to physically stand? And I personally am always really touched by that. So I thought I would share something from this interview. All right, so I've found the passage. So the interviewer asks, "What would you say are some of the important questions which occupy you now concerning the work?" And Selver replies, "How it is that we can help people to become more awake, and how after they begin to wake up, they learn to trust their own sensations. And how it is that they can discover that they really can see and hear and sense, and that this alone can be very powerful, a very powerful agent in one's life. One can learn not to restrict one's view to the habitual, I might add, to feel oneself as a member of this planet we all live on." And she goes on about her work with Elsa Gindler, who was one of her teachers, saying that she was impressed that Elsa included the whole cosmos in her work of sensing. So Charlotte founded, she probably wouldn't want this to be said about her, but she kind of founded the practices called sensory awareness, which I share in my meditations. And she says that Elsa made us conscious of the fact that every person has his potentials, and how very important it is that we make it possible that more and more people can develop these potentials. And then she goes on to say that many people feel they are too weak for such a task. But in the moment in which a person wakes up, I know some people have issues with that terminology of waking up, but let's just use it as waking up the senses, okay? Waking up, awareness of the body and the power that is in the body and in listening to the body. So many people feel they are too weak for such a task, but in the moment in which a person wakes up and becomes more ready, and by this I mean more willing, they will discover in themselves a boundless amount of energy. So the work is partly to discover what amount of energy is needed for every given task, and to allow that this energy can be expressed unhindered. This is what it means to be potent. And this potency goes hand in hand with seeing more, hearing more, feeling more, and being more in touch with what happens. Now, this is the part that sticks in my memory. Some people think that they get so sensitive they can't stand it. Do you realize that one can stand it? But this has something to do with being able to stand. People have usually learned from other people what to think, and we are not going this way because we feel that the person has all the abilities to find out for himself. He doesn't have to look to other people to be told what is right. This possibility of discovering gradually that one can trust one's own reactions can be a very powerful event. So that was an extract from a book called Bone, Breath, and Gesture, which is a beautiful book highlighting some key somatics teachers. And I return to the articles every now and then, and every time I have a new insight. But all to say, again, that I'd like to invite you, whether it's into my Joyful Breaks membership online, where I show up daily from Monday to Fridays for short sessions and one longer half-hour session a week, or whether it's in my personal in-person classes in Littleton, New Hampshire, if you're local to me. Again, once a week at the moment, where basically I hold space for you to notice how you are, to give yourself what it is that you need. Often it's simply rest. I say simply because that's a process in itself to allow yourself to rest. And so I guide you through that. But it can be feeling emotions. It can be showing up for yourself in that way, and then getting to know yourself so much better. And processing what is happening in your life, integrating that, giving that space. So often we're rushing through our days, and like I said earlier, these things, they are in the background of our minds, or we hold them in our bodies, and then we don't give them the time or the space to express themselves. So even if you don't join my programs, there are plenty of others out there also holding spaces. Perhaps not in the way that I do. Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own potency. Or maybe you're able to hold that space for yourself and take this just as a nudge to do so, maybe this weekend. Today is Friday, the 10th of February, 2023. Just for the record. So that's my message right now that I felt called to send to the world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. My heartfelt love goes out to you for everything you do to be a better human. And hope to see you soon at some point, whether in person or online. Take good care.